Human evolution is peppered with a series of fortuitous discoveries and unintended inventions. It's believed that accidental discoveries account for 30 to 50% of all scientific breakthroughs. Our unique ability to quickly discern the potential of unforeseen outcomes differentiates us from other species. Whether this distinction is beneficial is still up for debate. Some unexpected discoveries have led to monumental success, though sometimes overwhelmingly so, case in point, plastics and antibiotics. Regardless of their impact, the subsequent unintentional inventions of the last 200 years have undeniably reshaped our world. 1. The birth of matches. Think about the days before the ubiquity of technology or the convenience of the web. Now, consider a world before the invention of matches. That's a reality where fires depended on tools like magnifying glasses or rudimentary flint. The invention of matches can be credited to an accidental discovery by a British pharmacist named John Walker. In 1826, while mixing chemicals, Walker observed a dried clump on his stir stick. Upon trying to remove it, the stick sparked and ignited. Walker seized this inadvertent discovery and began marketing these as friction lights in his pharmacy. Initially made of cardboard, he soon transitioned to wooden splints. These matches were sold in boxes with a piece of sandpaper for striking. While many advised Walker to patent his creation, he opted out, believing his matches were for the greater good. However, this noble decision didn't deter others from capitalizing on his idea, eventually leading him to cease production as competitors dominated the market. 2. The birth of synthetic dyes, Movane. Up until the mid-1850s, everyday attire was noticeably muted. Vibrant and lasting colors were hard to achieve, given that dyes came from natural resources such as plants, minerals, and insects. However, this subdued spectrum changed dramatically in 1856 due to a fortunate accident. Young chemistry enthusiast, William Perkins, aiming to produce an artificial quinine for malaria treatment, instead yielded a murky residue derived from coal tar. To his astonishment, within this residue lay an astonishing shade, mauve. This accidental discovery was the advent of the first aniline dye, revolutionizing the dye industry with its capacity to produce consistent, brilliant hues. Movane became a sensation, captivating royalty and the masses alike. Beyond sparking a fashion revolution, Perkins' inadvertent discovery reshaped the trajectory of organic chemistry. Suddenly, it was not only intriguing but lucrative. This newfound allure drew a myriad of bright young minds into the realm of industrial chemistry applications, catalyzing breakthroughs in fields from medicine and fragrance to photography and explosives. 3. The birth of penicillin. While contemporary times may witness debates about antibiotic over-reliance, it's essential to recall the vulnerable era before their existence, marked by rampant infections and minimal defenses. The debut of the antibiotic age began serendipitously in 1929 with a young researcher, Sir Alexander Fleming. After a brief hiatus from his laboratory, Fleming returned to observe an uncovered petri dish contaminated with Staphylococcus bacteria, which had succumbed to an invading mold. Identifying this mold as Penicillium notatum, Fleming's further studies revealed its potent bacterial, killing properties and its harmlessness when administered to small animals. Fast forward a decade, scientists Howard Florey and Ernst Chain expanded upon Fleming's groundwork, pinpointing the mold's antibacterial agent E-penicillin. Their collective efforts earned them the 1945 Nobel Prize in Medicine, credited for unveiling penicillin and its therapeutic impact against a spectrum of infectious diseases. Pictured, a lab technician carefully dispenses purified penicillin into containers. During its processing, penicillin was freeze-dried, and under vacuum conditions, the ice was vaporized, leaving behind the powdered antibiotic. 4. The advent of the microwave oven. Few kitchen innovations are as iconic as the microwave oven in the realm of futuristic culinary tools. Picturing a potato fully cooked in mere minutes seemed unfathomable before its arrival. The inception of this kitchen marvel that aimed to alleviate the culinary burden for homemakers and solo dwellers alike occurred in the 1940s. Raytheon, an American firm, was engrossed in developing magnetron tubes for radar defense during the war. While experimenting with a magnetron, engineer Percy Spencer observed a chocolate bar in his pocket mysteriously melting, all thanks to the microwaves. A revelation dawned. Spencer then devised a cooking chamber, discovering that food items, when exposed to microwave radiation within this chamber, cooked at a rapid pace. Subsequently, Raytheon secured a U.S. patent for this cooking method, and the debut microwave oven was installed in a New England eatery for trial runs. In 1967, Amana, under Raytheon's wing, unveiled the first domestic microwave oven, capturing the imagination of futuristic home cooks everywhere. 5. The birth of synthetic plastic. Before the 20th century, plastics derived primarily from organic sources. However, the first entirely synthetic plastic came to be in 1907, thanks to an inadvertent discovery by Leo Hendrik Beekland. He initially embarked on a mission to find a more accessible substitute for shellac, an esteemed product sourced from lac beetles. Mixing formaldehyde with phenol, a byproduct of coal, and exposing it to heat, Beekland's results were surprising. Instead of a shellac alternative, he conjured up a polymer with an exceptional trait: it retained its shape and resisted melting under heat. This groundbreaking thermosetting plastic found its place in various products, from telephones to ornamental jewelry and timepieces. What set it apart was its independence from the natural world. It wasn't crafted to replicate materials like ivory or tortoise shell. This marked the dawn of an age dominated by innovative synthetic materials that still continues today. 6. The genesis of potato chips. Consider the potato chip, that thin, salty, crunchy slice of potato that Americans spend over $7 billion on annually. Its creation wasn't so much an unintentional invention, but more a cheeky retort, with its ensuing popularity catching its creator off guard. As the story goes, back in 1853, George Speckcrum, a chef at a Saratoga Springs eatery, grew frustrated with a high-end customer who kept sending back his thick-cut, French-style potatoes, the standard fare of the era. In a moment of vexation after the third complaint, Crum thinly sliced the potatoes, deeply fried them to a crisp, and liberally sprinkled them with salt, presuming they'd be inedible. To his astonishment, the customer was thrilled, asking for more. These crispy creations swiftly became the restaurant's signature dish, forever altering the snacking world. It's such a potent snack that a recent Harvard University study identified potato chips as the top contributor to weight gain in the US, though pointing fingers at Crum might be unfair. 7. The discovery of X-rays. In the year 1895, a curious event unfolded in the laboratory of the German physicist, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen. While experimenting with cathode ray tubes, instruments that emit a distinct phosphorescent beam of electrons and serve as precursors to modern-day devices like TVs and fluorescent bulbs, he made a perplexing observation. A sheet of paper smeared with barium platinocyanide started to shimmer from a distance. A phenomenon he was certain wasn't caused by the cathode rays since they couldn't traverse such lengths. In the face of this mysterious radiation, he labeled it X-radiation, denoting its uncertain identity. Diving deeper into this enigma, Röntgen discerned several materials that the radiation could penetrate and its capability to imprint on photographic plates. He went on to capture an iconic X-ray image of his wife's hand, distinctly revealing her skeletal structure and a ring she wore. This breakthrough not only ignited global intrigue but also cemented Röntgen's legacy in the annals of medicine and science, culminating in him being conferred the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. 8. The advent of shatterproof glass. In the budding era of motor vehicles, absent the security of airbags and seatbelts, the splintering of windshields was a significant peril. The turning point came courtesy of a serendipitous discovery by Edouard Benedictus, a French artist and chemist. While working in his laboratory, he inadvertently dropped a glass container. Instead of shattering into dangerous fragments, it merely cracked, held together by an inner layer of plastic cellulose nitrate. Envisioning its potential for vehicular safety, Benedictus patented the idea of laminated, or shatterproof, glass in 1909. Despite its evident safety advantages, automotive manufacturers initially dismissed it, prioritizing cost efficiency. However, its efficacy as a material for gas mask lenses during World War I proved its merit. Consequently, by the 1930s, the motoring world embraced this innovation, equipping vehicles with glass designed not to shatter into hazardous shards upon collision. 9. The unexpected rise of Viagra. While humankind has forever been on the quest for substances to enhance sexual prowess, the discovery of Viagra, sildenafil, happened quite accidentally. Rather than searching for a solution to male impotency, researchers were initially trialing sildenafil as a potential treatment for high blood pressure and heart ailments. As the studies progressed, it became evident that while the drug wasn't particularly effective for cardiovascular conditions, participants were highlighting one surprising and consistent side effect related to their sexual function. Eureka! By 1996, Pfizer had secured a patent for Viagra, and in 1998, it gained the US FDA's nod for treating erectile dysfunction. Today, the drug's annual sales continue to surpass the $1 billion mark. Here's a whimsical ad on: a mere 1 milligram of sildenafil in a vase can keep cut flowers standing tall for a week longer than their usual lifespan. 10. The birth of chocolate chip cookies. Culinary strokes of genius aren't always the result of meticulous planning in sophisticated kitchens. Sometimes, they arise from mere kitchen improvisations, such as in the case of the iconic Toll House cookie. Ruth Wakefield, who alongside her husband ran the Toll House Inn in Massachusetts, was the resident chef. As the tale goes, one day in 1937, while crafting a batch of cookies, she discovered she had run out of baker's chocolate. Adapting on the fly, she incorporated chunks from a regular chocolate bar, assuming it would meld into the dough during baking. It didn't. And so, the cherished chocolate chip cookie was born. While perhaps not world-altering, there's no denying the sheer delight these cookies have brought to countless faces and the way they've lightened many a day.